Hi guys, it's me Terry of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome back to another tutorial. In today's tutorial we're going to be doing part 4 of the baby educational ball. Okay, this is a pattern by Patricia Heller, and thank you Patricia for letting me do this tutorial of your pattern. Okay, so for today's part of the tutorial of the ball that we're going to be making, let me show you this on my phone, we're going to be making the square that's got the carrot on the inside, and then it's got the 2 lettuce leaves that fit over the top. Now I'm going to make one change to my pattern, is instead of putting a button, I'm going to use some sew-on Velcro that I've got, okay? Because, I don't know, just using a button kind of makes me nervous about, you know, a baby having it. So anyway, so that's what I've decided to do. But if you want to do the button, then feel free to do that. So what you need for this pattern is you're going to need one of your completed panels that we've made, okay? And then you're also going to use, what I'm using is 2 shades of green, all the same weight yarn as I have been using. I've been using a number 3 weight or DK or sport weight or baby weight yarn. It's known by different names, I think. I'm going to be using this light, well, it's kind of a lime green, I guess. It's something I got from Big Lots a long time ago, but it's very lightweight, so I'm sure it's like a 3 weight yarn. I'm going to be using that for my lettuce leaves. I'm going to be using another one of the Lime brand bonbons in this orange for my carrot. And then I'm going to be using this DK weight yarn that I've got in a darker green shade. So that's for the leaves on the top of the carrot. And then of course you need your crochet hook. Use the crochet hook that you've been using for your project. Mine is a 3.0 millimeter hook, so I'm going to be using that. A yarn needle to sew in ends if they're and to sew the applique onto the panel. Since I'm using this Velcro sew-on strip, then I'm going to be needing a sewing needle with some sewing thread to match the your lettuce leaf. And I don't have it with me right now. I forgot to get it out, but I will get it on one of my breaks, and I'll show you that. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, and you may want to, and you may also want a marker to mark the beginnings of your rounds. Okay, so starting with the lettuce leaf, I'm going to be taking my lime colored green or the lighter green shade, whichever you pick out. I'm going to be using that, and I'm get my hook, and I'm going to start with a magic circle. You can always chain 2 and work in the second chain from the hook and work it like that, but I'm going to do a magic circle, okay, or magic ring. Okay, so in the first part, let's see, row 1, or round 1, it says to do 6 single crochets into that magic ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then pull on the tail, the adjustable ring, to close up your circle. And then we are not going to be joining, it's just going to be worked in spirals. So going on to round 2, it's a round 2. It says 2 single crochets in each stitch around, okay? So going right into the first single crochet that you made from round 1, I'm going to be doing 2 single crochets into that stitch. So 1 and 2. Okay, and then continuing on, I'm going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch around, and that is going to give me 12 single crochets at the end of this round. So I did 1, 2 already in the first one. So oops, I split my yarn right in the very first stitch. Okay, let's try this again. There you go. 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12. Okay, so I've gone all the way around, two single crochets in each stitch around. And so now I am at the end of round 2 and going on to round 3. It says 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and you're going to do that all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and start using my marker. Okay, and so in the first stitch it says to do 2 single crochets into that same stitch. So 1 and 2. Okay, and now I'm going to get my marker and I'm going to put my marker in the first single crochet I did, because I just did 2 in that stitch. So I'm going to put my marker in the first one, and that marks the first stitch of my round. Okay, so I did 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Now I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and then you're going to repeat that sequence all the way around. So 2 single crochets, 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and you're going to do that all the way around, and at the end of this round you should have 18 stitches. So I'm going to continue on and I will meet you when I get back to my marker. Okay, so I got back to my marker and now I have 18 stitches all the way around my circle here. And so going on to round 4, I'm going to first remove my marker so then I can place it on my new round. And I'm going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 2 single crochets in the first one, so there's 1 and 2, and then I'm going to place my marker in that first stitch, the first stitch that I made. Okay, so I did 2 single crochets in that first stitch, and now I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and that's my sequence for this round. So 2 single crochets, 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so now I'm going to repeat that sequence all the way around, and I will meet you when I get back to the marker. Okay, so now I got back to the marker again, and so now my stitch count for my circle should be 24. Okay, going on to round 5, I'm going to take my marker out so then I can put it in the new stitch that I'm making. And on round 5 it says 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1 and 2, so 2 single crochets in the first stitch. So I'm going to put my marker into the first single crochet of those 2 that I just made, and then I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so that's 3 single crochets, singles. Okay, and now I'm going to repeat the sequence. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, same stitch, and then I'm going to do 3 singles. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so that's my sequence. And so I'm going to keep working on that, and then I'll meet you up when I get back to the marker. Okay, so I just got back to the marker, and now my stitch count around my circle is 30 stitches around. Okay, going on to round 6, I'm going to take my marker out so I can put it in my new stitch. It says 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets in this first stitch, so 1 and 2, same stitch. Put my marker in the first one of those 2 that I made. And then now it says 2 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So our sequence is 2 single crochets in the first stitch that you make of the sequence, and then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So you're going to repeat that sequence all the way around, and I will meet you when I get to the marker. Okay, I'm back to the marker, and that was the end of round 6, and I have a stitch count of 36 stitches all the way around. Okay, so now we're about to do our final round for this lettuce leaf, which is round 7. So I'm going to take my marker out, and then for round 7 it says 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, so 1 and 2. Put my marker in the first one of those 2 that I just made. Okay, and now single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 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 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So 5 times. Let me count, make sure I did that. 1 and 2, that's my first 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. Okay, so that's our sequence for this round. 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. And then you just repeat that all the way around, and I will meet you when I get back to the marker. Okay, so that is the last round. Okay, so I made it back to the marker, and that is the last round that we have to do for our lettuce leaf. Okay, so now what we need to do is just remove our marker, slip stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, and now we're going to cut our yarn and fasten off. Okay, so for the lettuce leaf, it's only going to be attached on one side, so then it can open, okay? And so you don't need a long amount of yarn that will go all the way around your piece. You just need, you know, I don't know, just several inches, see that? To attach that to our panel, and that's it, okay? So I'm going to just pull that through. Okay, to fasten off. Now, I do want to fasten off this, weave in the beginning end, tail end, because since this is going to open, you're going to see that tail end if you don't weave it in, okay? And so go ahead and repeat this for your second lettuce leaf. I've already got mine done, and see, I did weave in my beginning tail, okay? So I need to go ahead and do that on this one. And so go ahead, like I said, and make your second lettuce leaf, and then meet me back up here, and we will go on to make our carrot, okay? Okay, so going on to our next piece, which is the carrot, you're going to also start with a magic ring. Okay, and I'm going to do 6 single crochets into that magic ring, just like I did with the lettuce leaf, okay? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then I'm going to pull my starting tail to tighten up that and form the circle. Okay, like that, just like that. Okay, pull out some more yarn here. Okay, going on to round number 2, it says 2 single crochets in the next stitch and 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, so going right into the next stitch, which was the first one of the 6 that we made, okay, I'm going to put 2 single crochets into that stitch. So 1 and 2. Okay, and then it says 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to just repeat that sequence just one more time, and that will get us back to the beginning. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and so now we're already back to the beginning. And so at the end of that round, of round number 2, you will have 8 single crochets, stitch count all the way around. Okay, round number 3, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Okay, so we're going to do 2 single crochets in this next stitch, so 1 and 2, and that's the beginning of our round. So we can go ahead and put our marker into the first stitch of those 2 that we just made. Okay, and then it says 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that one more time. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and that will get us back to our marker. And as you can see, this piece is already like bowling up, I guess you'd say. So I'm going to go ahead and push it where the piece that what's facing me is coming up toward me, okay, because that's the right side of my stitches. Okay, going on to round 4 and 5, we're going to put just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Okay, and so we'll still have a stitch count of 10. Okay, so just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So 1 single crochet in the next one, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my marker in there into that stitch. Okay, and then I'm just going to do 1 single crochet around, and then when I get to the marker, I'll continue on and move my marker to the next stitch of the next round, and then do it again. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and then I will meet you back when I get finished with those 2 rounds. Okay, so I just finished the end of round 5. So I did 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Okay, and I already took out my marker right there. And then now going on to round 6, now I'm going to go ahead and just push my beginning tail. I'm going to poke that in there to get it out of my way. Okay, going on to round 6, we are going to do 2 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and then I'm going to place my marker in the first of those 2 stitches that I just made to mark the beginning of my round. And then I'm going to continue on. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so that was 4 single crochets where they're just singles. Okay, and now I'm going to repeat that sequence one more time. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now I'm already back to the beginning again. Okay, so now our stitch count should be at 12. And now we're going to repeat the same thing we did for rows 4 and 5. We're going to do that for rounds 7 and 8. So I'm just going to do 1 single stitch in each stitch around. I'm going to do it 2 times. So I will meet you when I do that, those 2 rounds, okay? And then we will go on to round 9 together. Okay, so I just did round 7 and 8, and now going on to, and so you should still have 12 stitches around your opening there. And then let's go on to the next round, round 9. We're going to take our marker out so we can replace it in the right place. So in rounds 9 it says single crochet 2 together in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to repeat that 4 times. Okay, so that is going to bring our stitch count down from 12 single crochets around to 8 single crochets around. So in order to do the single crochet 2 together, I like to do an invisible decrease, and the way I do that is let me bring you up a little closer here. I insert my hook into the next stitch, but only through the front loop only, okay? And then I kind of twist my hook around and I go under the front loop of the next stitch also. See that? And then yarn over and pull through both of those loops, and then complete my single crochet like regular. Okay, so that is my invisible decrease, and I'm going to put my marker into that stitch because that is the first stitch on the round. Okay, and now I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next one, just a regular single crochet. Okay, and then now I'm going to do the invisible decrease again. So let me show it to you again. Go underneath the first front loop only of the next stitch, and then just twist your hook around and go under the front loop of the next stitch also, and then yarn over and pull through those 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through those 2 loops like a regular single crochet. Okay, and then that's your invisible decrease. Okay, and so we're going to do that, and then you're going to do 1 single crochet in the next one just like regular. Okay, so you're going to do that all the way around until we get back to the marker again, and I will meet you there. Okay, so I made it back to the marker, and now I have 8 stitches around instead of 12. I decreased down to 8. And now going on to the last round, we are going to just do a single crochet 2 together or an invisible decrease, and we're going to do that every time in each stitch all the way around. So we're going to be going down from 8 stitches, we'll be going down to 4 stitches. Okay, so we'll do that 4 times. So invisible decrease 4 times. So there's the first one, and then the second one, okay, and then number 3. It's kind of tight in there because we only have just a few stitches left. Okay, and then we got one more to do, number 4. So that would be in this stitch and this stitch. Okay. Okay, so now we have 4 stitches around, and we've gotten to the end of our carrot, and it just says finish off with a slip stitch. So I'm going to go into the very next stitch if I can find it and do a slip stitch to fasten it off. Okay, there you go. Okay, and then I'm going to cut my yarn, and of course this I don't need hardly any length of it at all, because I'm just going to cut it, fasten it off, and tuck it in. Okay, so pull that through to fasten it off, pull it tight there, and then take my yarn needle and thread it, and then just I might go around my stitches just a few more times here just to kind of get that closed off real good. Okay, and then I'm going to just go into my carrot to hide the yarn tail. Okay, and then trim this off. Okay, so there is our carrot. Okay, going on to the next piece of our carrot here. All we need to do now is the leaves at the top of the carrot. So for that I'm going to use this darker green that I've got. And it says fasten a slip knot to the top of the carrot. Okay, so take our carrot. Here is the top. The top is the beginning magic ring circle that we made. And so I'm just going to go in there kind of around that top round, and I'm going to join. I'm just going to pull a loop through. okay? And then chain 1 to fasten it off. So it's like a slip stitch, see that? Okay? And then I'm going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so once you chain 5, now I'm going to slip stitch my way back down the chain, back down to the base of where I started, the base of the carrot, the top of the carrot, okay? So I'm just slip stitching into each of those chains, just down to the bottom. Okay, and make sure you slip stitch down into the stitch where you attached your yarn also to fasten it, get it fastened down to the top of your carrot. Okay, and then the next one, and then so now I'm at the base again. So now I'm going to do the next leaf, and it says to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm going to do the same thing as what I just did. Work my way down by slip stitching into each chain, going back down the chain. Okay, so now I'm going to repeat that with 3 more leaves. You can either chain, you can just randomly either chain 5 or chain 6, like that, and then work your way down with slip stitches down to the base. And then remember, you don't actually have to go around in a circle because this carrot is going to be flattened down like that, and so it's not, you're not going to see the back side of the carrot, in other words. Just get it, do these leaves as much as you want just to get a good bushy top to it, okay? So I'm going to do this probably, this is my 3rd one, and I'll do that 2 more times after that. So then I'll have 5 altogether, and then I will meet you when I get those done. Okay, so I got the remainder of my leaves done, okay? And now I'm going to just take my yarn needle, and I already fastened off, so I'm going to take my yarn needle and I'm going to just weave my yarn tail, just, you know, to fasten it off and hide my ends. I'm just going to kind of weave it into the green part of my leaves, okay? You can even go up the leaf if you want to, and then just trim it off. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other tail, the beginning tail. So there is our carrot. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my carrot on the panel. So I'm getting my panel here, and I'll go ahead and use pretty good length of the orange yarn that I used for my carrot, and I'll use that to tie get my carrot sewn on to the middle of my panel, okay? So I just kind of center it. If you have a pin, you could go ahead and pin it to kind of help hold it in place if you want to do that, okay? But I just want to center it onto my panel, and then I'm just going to stitch it down. I'm going to come from the underneath, the underside, and stitch it down, okay? Work my way all the way around the carrot, okay, like that. And you can go ahead and just leave the top part of the carrot, the leaves, leave those free, so that way it'll be kind of 3-dimensional. You don't have to worry about stitching those down. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this pin out because I've got a few stitches there to hold it, and the rest I'm just going to hold with my thumb. And I'm going to just go ahead and stitch these down. I mean, stitch the carrot down. Okay, so I finished tacking down or sewing down my carrot, and I went ahead and tied off my strings that I had in the back just in a knot and clipped them short just to clean it up a little bit. Okay, and then now taking my 2 lettuce leaves, I'm going to attach them on either side of the carrot. You just line it up to where the color starts, like that. See that? Okay, and I'm going to stitch that down only on one side, so that way this will you can come open. Okay, and I'm going to do that on both sides, so that way there'll be an overlap there. See, like that. Okay, and it's okay if the greenery of the carrot sticks out. That's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And like I said, I'm only going to sew on the one side, right where the color change happens on the round, and I'm going to do that on both sides to overlap the 2 lettuce leaves. And let me do that, and then I'll come back when I'm finished with that. Okay, I got my lettuce leaves sewed on. Okay, secured on the back. I already trimmed the ends. And when I was doing it, I was kind of rethinking the idea about the Velcro strip, and I think I'm still going to use a piece of the Velcro strip, but I was thinking that once we get the panels sewed together and then the whole ball stuffed, I want to wait and see how much this stretches and to see what the overlap is going to look like for these lettuce leaves. So that way I'll know exactly where to put that Velcro strap before I sew it down. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait and leave the panel like this, and then when we do the assembly and the finishing off, then I will go back and attach the Velcro strips. That way I can see exactly where I need to place it. Okay? Okay, so that is all for today's tutorial for this panel. This is the 3rd panel in the series. Let me reach over here. So this is the first one that we made. And then we made this one, and now we've got our 3rd one. So thanks for watching this tutorial, and I hope that you're following along in making a baby ball for yourself, or for well, not for yourself, but for a loved one or a gift. And I hope you're having a good time with it. I'm enjoying making these panels, and I think this is turning out to be a very fun project. So stay tuned in a few days, and I'll do the next panel with you. And so I guess that's it. So have a great day, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.